In today's video, we're going to be installing a part on the Ford Bronco that I should have installed a long time ago. And when I mean a long time ago, I should have installed these way before we even went off-roading. If you guys don't know, the Ford Bronco tie rods are super weak and they like to break. And if you end up putting 35s on your Bronco, you're going to cause those tie rods to even have more stress and have more likely of a case of breaking. Now, I have 37s on our Broncos, and every time we've gone off-roading, I've beaten this thing pretty good, and somehow, some way, our tie rods haven't broken yet. Now, I do have a solution for that today because I'm tired of testing my luck. These are going to be the tie rod sleeves from JKS, and they're going to solve all of our problems for us. Now, let's go ahead, take the wheel off, and then I'm going to show you exactly why these tie rods break and what these sleeves will actually do. With the wheel off, you can really see the tie rod and see how skinny it is and why these things are so easy to break. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why would Ford make such a breakable tie rod? And it's to say that it may be the best fail point, because if you didn't have this as a fail point, then your power steering rack would be a fail point, and that's going to be a lot more expensive and a lot harder to replace instead of just a tie rod. Now, luckily, there's a ton of aftermarket companies out there that create solutions for this. Now, you can end up purchasing a whole aftermarket tie rod that's usually a lot beefier than the factory one, and you never have to worry about breaking it. Or you can end up purchasing the JKS tie rod sleeves, which will prevent all of these issues from happening as well too. So basically what the JKS tie rod sleeve is going to end up doing is, it's going to slide over this piece of the tie rod here, because this is the weakest point. Now, with this steel sleeve, it's actually going to make this whole area a lot more durable and give the tie rod support, so we shouldn't have any issues with it snapping. Now, the best part about these, besides them preventing the tie rods from failing, is the fact that they're really easy to install. So let's go ahead and get after it. So now our first step is we're actually going to want to crack the locking nut here loose. Now, just back it up a little bit. You don't want to go too far off, because we want to try to keep our alignment as good as possible. Now, one thing I do want to say before we even go any further, definitely schedule alignment, because you're going to need one after we're done with this. Now grab a 21mm socket and loosen the tie rod end nut. And I'm going to thread this on just a little bit. Grab your hammer and then smack the side of the knuckle here, and then that should pop out the tie rod end. Once you have the tie rod end out, go ahead and take off the nut and then pull your tie rod end out of the hub. Make sure the locking nut is up against the tie rod end, and then spin the tie rod end off of the actual tie rod. Now at this point, grab a tape measure or a marker, and you're going to want to mark exactly where the locking ring is at. That way when we put our sleeve on, we know exactly where everything needs to be, and our alignment will be as close as it was before. But again, you're still definitely going to need an alignment. Now we can take our locking nut off, since we have our spot marked. And once that's off, you can grab your sleeve, slide it over the tie rod. You're going to want to thread this up to where we made that mark. Once you have your sleeve on, you can put your tie rod end back on, and there you have it. Your JKS tie rod sleeves are now installed onto the tie rod. With our sleeve on, we can now reinstall everything and then repeat the exact same process on the opposite side. Well, we're all wrapped up with the JKS tie rod sleeves, and I gotta say, that was a super easy install. I thought I was gonna be here for a lot longer, but I was only here for about 30 minutes, and you guys will probably be here for about the same amount of time too. Now remember, when you purchase these and install them, you have to have an alignment scheduled for afterwards, because we definitely just messed up the entire alignment by installing these. Now it's going to be close, but it's not going to be perfect, so definitely get that done. And if you want to purchase a set of these sleeves, I'm going to leave a link down below in our description, but it is time to drop a gear and disappear. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.